By 1944, Nazi Germany dominated Western Europe. France had fallen. Belgium and the Netherlands were occupied. Norway was under German control. To the east, the Soviet Union was fighting desperately, suffering enormous losses while holding back German forces. Joseph Stalin demanded a second front in the West. Without it, the war could be lost. But invading Nazi-occupied Europe meant crossing the English Channel under fire and storming one of the most heavily fortified coastlines in history. Germany called it the Atlantic Wall. Concrete bunkers, artillery batteries, barbed wire, mines hidden beneath sand and sea. No invasion like this had ever succeeded before. The Allies began planning in absolute secrecy. The mission was called Operation Overlord. General Dwight D. Eisenhower was appointed Supreme Allied Commander. The scale was unprecedented. Over 3 million Allied troops gathered in southern England. Thousands of ships were assembled. Aircraft filled the skies. Everything had to work perfectly. Troops, fuel, food, medical supplies. If even one part failed, the invasion could collapse. This was not just a military operation. It was a logistical miracle waiting to happen or fail. The Allies knew one thing clearly. They could not win by force alone. So they turned to deception. Operation Bodyguard was designed to mislead Nazi Germany about the invasion's location. A fake army was created in southern England. Inflatable tanks, wooden aircraft, false radio transmissions. General George S. Patton, feared by the Germans, was placed in command of this phantom force. Double agents fed false information to Berlin. The goal was simple: convince Hitler the invasion would come at Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. And it worked. Even on the night before D-Day, German commanders believed Normandy was only a diversion.
Nature nearly stopped the invasion. Storms battered the English Channel. High waves and thick clouds threatened the mission. The invasion required specific conditions: low tides, moonlight, clear skies. Meteorologist James Stagg predicted a narrow break in the weather on June 6th. Many commanders doubted him. Eisenhower faced an impossible choice: delay and risk discovery, or attack and risk disaster. After hours of silence, he made his decision. Okay, let's go. Hours before dawn, the invasion began in the air. Thousands of Allied paratroopers jumped behind enemy lines in complete darkness. Their objectives were critical: secure bridges, cut communication lines, slow German reinforcements. Many soldiers were scattered far from their landing zones. Some landed alone. Some landed in flooded fields. Despite the chaos, small groups adapted. One key bridge, later called Pegasus Bridge, was captured in minutes. The invasion was now unstoppable. As dawn broke, the Allied armada appeared. Thousands of ships stretched across the horizon. 5 beaches were assaulted simultaneously: Utah and Omaha by American forces, Gold and Sword by British forces, Juno by Canadian troops. At Omaha Beach, resistance was fierce. Terrain, weather, and German defenses caused heavy delays. But leadership emerged from chaos. Small units moved forward without orders because turning back was impossible. By nightfall, all 5 beaches were secured. A foothold in Nazi-occupied Europe had been established. Operation Overlord had succeeded. Germany's defenses were strong.
But their command structure was flawed. Hitler personally controlled armored reserves. No tanks could move without his approval. On the morning of D-Day, he was asleep. By the time permission was given, the opportunity was gone. The deception had worked. The delay was fatal.
D-Day did not bring instant victory. Once the beaches were secured, the Allies entered one of the most difficult phases of the war. Normandy was a maze of hedgerows, thick earthen walls topped with dense vegetation. German forces turned every field into a fortress. Progress was slow. Every village became a battlefield. Every road was contested. Casualties mounted on both sides. German counterattacks were fierce, but Allied air power dominated the skies. Bombers and fighter planes targeted roads, bridges, and supply lines, slowly choking German mobility. What began on the beaches now became a grinding war of endurance. Victory would not come quickly.
By late July, Allied forces were stalled. So the Americans launched Operation Cobra. A massive aerial bombardment shattered German positions near Saint-Lô. For the first time since D-Day, the front broke open. Allied armored divisions surged forward. German units, stretched thin and lacking fuel, began to collapse. Entire formations were encircled in what became known as the Falaise Pocket. Tens of thousands of German soldiers were captured or killed. The road out of Normandy was finally open. With German defenses broken, the Allies advanced rapidly across France. Cities long under occupation were liberated one by one. In August 1944, Paris rose in rebellion. Allied forces entered the city days later to scenes of celebration. But the war was not over. German forces regrouped beyond France's borders, and fighting would continue for months. Yet something had changed. The myth of Nazi invincibility was shattered. Operation Overlord had done what no other campaign had achieved. It returned freedom to Western Europe and sealed the fate of Nazi Germany.